How do you keep growing your Amazon merch sales?
A site that nobody knows, just the ones that use Flying Upload is.
Can you explain to me what the Amazon merch custom t-shirts are? And do you think they're a threat to print-on-demand sellers? In this episode of Print-on-Demand Wisdom, I spoke to Tom, who started selling print-on-demand around the same time that I did in 2018. He's now in tier 50,000 on Amazon merch, and he's selling on multiple other print-on-demand platforms as well. And he's also one of the founders of Flying Upload and Flying Research. In this interview, we discussed many different topics, including the new custom Amazon merch t-shirts and how they're going to impact our sales, how to find low competition, evergreen niches. Tom also shares his Amazon ads strategy, and we discuss how to keep growing your sales in 2024 and moving forward. So talk to me a bit about your print-on-demand origin story. How did you get started and when was it?
So we started in 2018 already. We saw just a YouTube video from a person who was uploading to Spreadshirt. And then me and a friend thought, hey, we could do the same. And then we started in 2018 with uploading to Spreadshirt. We also tried to get an account on Merch by Amazon. And then we also got one end of 2018. And then in 2019, we were already on Spreadshirt, on Redbubble, on TeePublic, so on multiple POD sites. And this is also where the idea come from that we built something, because I was making my IT school. My partner was making his bachelor in IT. And yeah, it was like a side hustle, a side project that we didn't upload manually anymore. We programmed the software, what is later Flying Upload, that helps you to automate to your sites. And we initially just built this just for us. And after some time, we recognized, okay, this is really powerful. It really helps to scale. It really helps to grow the income. And then at some point, end of 2019, we decided that we want to publish it. Then we had a beta, a closed one. And then in March 2020, we started officially with Flying Upload. And of course, then you get user feedback and everything. And then end of 2020, we also started with Flying Research, so our online application. And after all this time, after all the years, then keywords and the online edit and everything else around the software was also there. And of course, we also always made print on demand. So our merch account, we had it in 2018. To be honest, in 2019 and 20, we didn't do too much in print on demand. But then 2021, we started to do more. And then we also got an advertising account. And so we see ourselves as software developers, but at the same time, we do print on demand like anyone else here.
So you started off with Spreadshirt originally, right? That was your first platform, you said. How long did it take for you to get like decent sales with Spreadshirt or generally with print on demand? Because the beginnings are usually quite hard, aren't they?
Yeah, to be honest, it didn't take too long. We just made very simple text designs with a little icon most of the times. And I think it took us 2 weeks, and it was a design
2 weeks.
no Wi-Fi, no life. so a software shirt. And at this point, of course, when you make your first sale, you feel like the king, I think it took the same time to make the second sale. And we concentrated on Spreadshirt at that time because the revenue was great. You got like 8 or 9 euro per shirt per sale.
Wow.
No matter if you sold a $15 mug or a $20 shirt, And we concentrated on Spreadshirt. And I would say probably 18, 24 months around that. And then the sales were really coming in every day. You get an amount that is really useful, then you can scale your business and everything. And I think life is a marathon and POD is also a marathon. And to go through this phase, I think the first 12 till 24 months, something like that, then you should make decent sales, hopefully. And then it also starts to make fun.
So to clarify, it took you 2 weeks to get your first sale, but took you about a year to 2 years to get like decent income.
Exactly. It's very small goals. You make a sale, then you have to make a second one. And at some point you have a day with 2 sales and with 3 sales. And when you really start to see regular sales, not every day, but when you see, okay, my number is growing and everything, then you can say, okay, yeah, now I'm in.
Mm-hmm. And you keep saying we did this or we uploaded there. So you did it together with your friend. Did you both have individual accounts though, or did you like share a Merch by Amazon account, for example?
Exactly. So we started at the same time as a friend project, more or less. And I had my own accounts. He had his own accounts, and we applied for one merch account. And we also then got this because at that time we were relatively afraid that we lose our accounts. If we work in the same room with the same router and very similar IP addresses and everything. And over time, we did it then like that. We had always one main account for every site, and the other accounts from my partner were then more or less testing accounts. So when something has to be changed for the upload, but we are still quite active on all sites, and we have always a main account for each site.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the whole flying story started with Flying Upload, right? That was the first tool you developed to help you automate the upload process. But now, over time, there's been a lot of features and tools added to the Flying suite of tools, or whatever you want to call it. So what, in your opinion, are some of the best features, or maybe most underrated features that Flying has?
Yeah, over time we grew really, really big with everything from upload automation to design research. Now also AI research, trademarks, keywords, etc. And it always depends a little bit what your main goal is. Is your goal now to fill your slot, for example, or you want to make advertising? And it also depends always a little bit how costly it is, or in which package it is. In general, I can say when someone has a free account on flyingresearch.net, we have a tab. It's the tag generator. It's completely free. And when you're on sites like a Spreadshirt or maybe also Etsy, when you work with keywords in general, this is really great. When I tag, for example, for Spreadshirt, then I always use this tag generator. Then what is a little bit underrated, but what is also really simple and good is in our bestsellers tab for the design research, you can simply sort for the design that are the newest and have already sold, also with their BSR ranks and everything. And this is simply something you can't see on your normal Amazon. You can filter for newest, but then you see simply all designs. And here you can see, hey, what was uploaded like 3 days ago and what sold already. And this is very, very good to see very fast trends. For example, solar eclipse was something that was also trending last year, for example. And when you have the newest filter on, you quickly saw, okay, something is coming up here. And then when you're, I would say, a little bit more advanced and you already work with advertising, everything, I think also that the keyword search from Flying, the general one, is really, really good because it gives you immediately an insight. How is the trend? How is the search volume over the last 12 months? And of course, also all related keywords. And especially when you work with manual campaigns, does not really matter if it's Amazon or Google Ads, or I think you can also use it for Facebook. It's really, really fast to see similar keywords, also keywords that you maybe not had in mind, and set up a campaign and be successful and grow your sales.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been playing around with the keyword search tool a lot more over the past few months, and it does give you a lot of data very, very quickly, and helps you validate niches very well. It's useful for ads if you want to create manual ad campaigns, but it depends like who the person is using Flying Research or Flying Keywords. Because if you're in a lower tier, you don't even have access to advertising, it's probably way too costly and not really necessary at all. If you're in a higher tier and you want to optimize your ads or be more specific with your niche selection, then something like keyword research must be very powerful. And I didn't even think about like Google ads and Facebook ads, but yeah, you could use the data there as well because it shows you the Google search volume as well, doesn't it? So that's really cool. Did you ever think it would grow this big when you initially designed Flying Upload?
To be honest, no. As I mentioned in the beginning, it was just for us. And somewhere in the process, we decided, hey, okay, it's really useful. And if it helps us, why shouldn't it help others? And it did in the end. And yeah, we are always quite ambitious, to be honest. And we relatively quick also decided after the upload, hey, we also need a research because also the users want it. And I think there is no one in the POD scene who has a software out there who is so big and has such a wide range and everything. But I also have to say we see really not now every day, let's say every year as a gift. Internet is so fast changing, and also print on demand, all the platforms, new products, etc. Everything is so fastly changing. So in the beginning, it was really like every month we were grateful that we are here, and it's the same at this time. It's like, okay, we are happy when we go through this year, and then we continue next year, etc. And yeah, we never thought it will grow so big, but now it is, and we're happy.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive the amount of tools that you have built, and within each tool, there's so many different features. It doesn't really compare to anything, really. So, but you mentioned something there that was interesting: new products. Right, there's something very new, very recent that's come out on Amazon Merch. Can you explain to me what the Amazon Merch custom T-shirts are, and do you think they're a threat to print-on-demand sellers?
Yeah, I think it came up like 2 weeks ago in Facebook groups where you saw a mock-up where you can now upload your own image like we do in the Create tab on Amazon, and then the customer can directly print their design and then let it ship. I think it's also for V-necks and long sleeves and the premium t-shirt. And as always, it's a lot of fear around that when something like this is. I mean, I think it's normal, but I don't really think it will have a big impact, because when a customer goes to Amazon and he wants a customized t-shirt with its own design, he usually knows that already right from the beginning, And I think Amazon did this because, for example, also Spreadshirt has their own t-shirt maker, and it is more about before they leave Amazon and go to Spreadshirt for their custom shirts, let them be on Amazon. And the second reason is customized t-shirts is something that is existing since years on Amazon. So it's not really a new field, and I don't think it has no till very, very little influence on us as merch sellers.
Yeah. I think it's existed on Spreadshirt for ages, hasn't it? It's not a new thing at all.
It is the main thing from Spreadshirt, since I know it, that they have this custom t-shirt maker.
Mm-hmm. And I get it, right? It looks scary because it's also cheap, right? $14.99, I think, for the custom t-shirt that you can order through Amazon Merch. But most people are too lazy, especially the newer generations growing up. I doubt that they have the patience to actually create a design themselves. And like you said, it's mostly targeting the people that were already doing this, that were already going to Etsy, for example, buying some clip art and then getting it made through Spreadshirt or now Amazon, right? It's not really going to take away the existing audience that buys print-on-demand products. Maybe the odd person will fall into it, but I doubt it's much of an issue or going to.
Yeah, it's not really a real customer behavior, that I also read in a group that you can, or that now people will steal your designs and then upload itself to the custom t-shirt. That will never happen. No one will do this effort to buy a shirt for $14.99 instead of $18.99, for example. And the other thing is the custom T-shirts from third-party companies that are already existing on Amazon are much cheaper. You know, you can buy T-shirt there for $8, $9, $10. So this is not really an argument. So
it's basically already existed as well, just without the Prime shipping, maybe. But yeah, that's interesting. I had similar discussions in my Discord group, and people basically agreed that it's not really a threat.
And it's not returnable. The custom T-shirts from Amazon are not returnable. You know, our return rate is always going up, and it's a huge problem for the merch program. But when you use their custom maker, customers can't return it. So yeah.
Talk to me about recency bias in print on demand.
Yeah, I think it's something that firstly I made a video of because I found it very, very interesting. And I think this is something that influences our whole life. For example, when your favorite soccer team plays and it wins this week, you think that it also will win next week. But the chances are more or less exactly the same, you know. And the same is in print on demand. And I think that you have a lot of short-term information you get from advertising, from sales, designs, listings, whatever. But it should be the middle till long range that counts for you. Prime example is always advertising. You see your advertising for the last, let's say, 7 days, and it didn't perform very well, and then you change it. And afterwards, when you analyze like the whole month or the whole year, you realize, okay, maybe when I didn't do anything, it will be the best in the end. And yeah, I think this is the recency bias. It influences all of our lives in nearly every situation. But you should at least think about it, that this is existing, and maybe think twice and say, hey, okay, before I change now, let's check a wider range and let's concentrate on a wider and on a greater goal instead of now short-term changes.
Yeah, I agree. I always tell people to zoom out rather than looking at like individual days or even weeks, because it's still the same for me. I might have a week where the sales are really low and then panic and might want to change prices or whatever or increase my ads. But then if you zoom out and you look at each month, the sales are going up month over month. So I'm just panicking in the moment that this is the end and all the sales are going down, but it always comes back up. And you also had a good example, I think, in your video about mock-ups. So now Amazon Merch has introduced the mock-ups feature, right? And a lot of people are panicking, okay, this is going to destroy our sales, which is, again, like a recent event that you can use kind of as blame if your sales are going down. But I'm sure a lot of people are already seeing an increase in sales as well. So it just depends on the person's situation. And another example I thought of was, do you remember when COVID started? People were all panicking, saying this is the end of print on demand. Too many people are starting this. Now it's too saturated. No one talks about that anymore. Now it's AI, the new evil end to print on demand sellers.
Yeah, exactly. Always that what happened is the worst thing that ever happened. 2 or 3 years ago, Amazon Merch introduced auto translation, where your design was automatically translated into other languages, into other marketplaces. And there is no valid reason why this should influence your sales, for example, on the .com marketplace. But this feature was there, and a day later you read, oh, my sales are down. They are completely destroyed and everything. And the same now with the mockups. And the interesting thing is about the mockups, they were there for everyone, man, woman, youth. Then they were completely gone. Then they were back just for men. And I think now they are gone again. And in the beginning, everyone posted like sales down 30, 40, 50%. And now everyone lives with the mockups, you know, they are nothing new anymore. And you hear nothing anymore about sales or influence from mockups.
Yeah, no complaints. I've stopped following it as well, whether the mockups are there or not. Because it's one of those things that can drive you crazy. I think if you focus too much on the news of print on demand and try to hyper analyze why your sales are up or down, it just drives you insane. Which products are you expecting to come to Amazon in the near future? But besides the custom T-shirt, is there anything new that you think is on the horizon?
Yeah, I think what really is important for us is that Amazon seems to be already testing new products on the .com marketplace for their own brands. For example, Amazon Prime Video for their series they have there. You can see that they have caps where also their Amazon print on demand logo is there, and it's embroidered and not printed. So this is also very, very interesting if it is now, yeah, with embroidery. And I think when they are already testing, it would be the most logical thing to bring this as the next step. Of course, no one can say if this happens tomorrow or next year. And what also people monitored is that they are testing tumblers on the .com marketplace, but I'm not 100% sure about that because yeah, they are there, but they have no print. You know, it's just three tumblers in three different colors, and I could imagine that it is something like Amazon Essentials. You know, that it is a product that Amazon offers, but they just have now instead of Essentials under the Merch on Demand brand. And yeah, I think caps are the most logical thing. Or for example, the tote bags and the pillows, bringing it to European marketplaces. This is also something because Amazon has another view. You know, they have the supply chain, and probably they always first want to expand all the products to all marketplaces they have available. Yeah, for example, also phone cases were a big problem in the beginning to bring the new models. Last year it was a lot better, and could also be the goal that now first all existing products for all marketplaces or caps, hopefully both or new marketplaces.
Yeah, I can imagine that as well because they've done it for the phone cases, so why not do it for tote bags and pillows as well? And maybe then they will add new products. But hats or caps would definitely be interesting. Those could be massive sellers, and it's also interesting, like you said, because of the embroidery. It's a different type of print, if you can call it print. I don't know, but we we won't be able to just use our old designs necessarily and put them onto a hat if they're too complex in the colors and that sort of stuff. It's usually quite basic designs, simple text stuff that you see on the hats. So or badges, that sort of stuff. It's a bit of a different style to t-shirt design. So if they bring that, it should be interesting and a new challenge kind of for print on demand sellers, or new opportunity in the sense that not everyone's going to understand it from the get-go, so you kind of have less competition. So yeah, I hope they bring more products, man. I mean, it's been ages since we've had a proper new product added, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And coffee mugs or tumblers would be really good as well.
Yeah, I can't really understand why Amazon Merch is, after all these years, I think the program is existing since 8 years, I think, or this is the eighth year,
Mm.
that they still didn't bring Max. Max is a no-brainer. You know, you could, when you sell from the beginning, when you start the merch program and you say, hey, I have here my standard t-shirt and here I have Max, it will be a huge success. 100%, you know. So I don't know if this is like with the printing machines they have, but yeah, Max is a no-brainer. It has to be. It has to come. Also, other marketplaces like Canada or Mexico. So I think we can both agree when we say that Amazon Merch has potential that is untouched and is still so big.
Yeah, it's limitless, and it's weird how they're always lacking behind. Like the custom T-shirts only just came through, and Spreadshirt's been doing it for what 10 years, probably 15 years. So
Yeah.
Amazon is always very slow. But yeah, I didn't even think about marketplaces as well. Why have they not expanded further into Mexico, Canada? Those are big markets, and um, I randomly saw a video or like a screen recording that I made recently. I think I got tiered up to like tier 1000 or 2000, and I noticed there was only the American and the British and maybe the German marketplace. I didn't even remember that it looked so
Yeah, me three. Yeah.
so empty. Um, yeah, and we've had the new ones, the new marketplaces added for many years now, haven't we? But they've not added to that, which is unfortunate. Um, Talk to me about your weekly newsletter with Flying.
Yeah. Since last year, of course, we always had Flying Research, also since end of 2020 already. But what we realized also from user side is that when you have a lot of data, it's always great. You always like to have more data than less. But for some users, especially when you're relatively new, it's hard for people to get a context. They see a bestseller rank or they see an amount of designs for a specific niche, and then they have to decide, okay, is this now interesting for me or isn't? And this is where we thought about, hey, okay, we have to do something about this. And this is why we introduced last year also a new POD report, we call it. It's really short. It comes every week. I think it's 5 sites or 6 sites where we really just analyze the latest news, if there are some, also inform people with deleted designs, with trends, and also always give a example niche that people can use if they don't have their own idea or they want to try a new interesting niche. And yeah, this is basically what this POD report is about. Everybody who has a research package or higher gets that, and it should be a up to date, so you don't have to look for yourself on YouTube, on Facebook groups, WhatsApp. It's just everything in 1 week and gives you a little bit of context what is currently going on in Print on Demand.
Okay. So you cover trends, general updates like the mock-up situation, for example. I think there's a deleted design section as well, which I think is always handy
Exactly.
to keep your account safe. And the niche that you share is usually an evergreen niche and oftentimes low competition, right?
Yeah. To be honest, we don't have steady parameters where we say, hey, a niche has to be like this, that we feature it in the report. We do our own research with Flying Research, and when we find something interesting, we always try to find a little bit of a mix with really low competition niches where you can, of course, not expect everyday sales, but when you're new and you need a few sales, then you can sell there organically. And we also try to feature some niches where you have to advertise, but where we think that, for example, the bestseller ranks and the amount of total products is very, very good in ratio. And then we also recommend niches like that. And yeah, I think there is something for everyone.
Do you only get access to that if you have Flying Research, or is it if, for example, you have like the basic Flying Upload subscription, do you then also get the newsletter? Or
you can have every subscription of Flying, and then you also will get the newsletter. And sometimes we also just publish a newsletter, for example, on our Instagram account, so people can have a look. We don't do this every week, but from time to time, you can also see how our report looks.
That's a good tip. So if anyone's watching, if anyone who is watching is interested in that newsletter, then follow Flying on Instagram. Cool. And do you ever test the niches or enter the niches yourself that you share on those reports?
Yeah, it's always we always have to try, because we don't want to go into every niche ourselves, because we write this report for our users, But at the other side, of course, we also have to test niches, because simply writing reports and simply publishing niches should not be the goal. There should really be success. So I think we don't go into every niche, but all 2 or 3 weeks, we also try the niche ourselves. And usually we don't do advertising. We really just upload the designs and see how it goes. And I think the results are quite positive. We also have a video on our YouTube channel, Flying Upload, where we show the results for a niche, for example, that could bring you, without advertising, sales on all marketplaces. That pushed you out of tier 10 in I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And this should be the goal. This is also confirmation for us. And we need that, of course, because we want to publish value and not just data.
I find that very interesting, because most people, and for good reason, suggest to enter trends in the lower tiers, but you basically did the test with an evergreen niche without advertising, and you got enough sales to get out of tier 10 technically in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Which is something you wouldn't expect from an evergreen niche, but it's good to know that works with the right niche.
I have to say this niche was ESA trend niche. I mean, it's coming up every year.
Okay.
It's the Roman Empire Christmas Saturnalia. You can also see this on our YouTube. So it's coming up around Christmas time. But you're right. You really sell this also over the year. But of course, especially when it comes to Christmas time.
So it's like a seasonal trend that can sell
Yeah.
throughout the year. Okay, gotcha. Speaking of evergreen niches, though, how do you find them for these reports? Or how? I think the most interesting part is how do you find low competition ones?
You have different approaches that you can use in this case. We just work, to be honest, with what Flying gives us, because this is also something that we verify. Okay, what we produce that works also. It depends a little bit how deep you want to do the research. So we really make the full research. So we look, for example, for newest, what I mentioned before. Of course, also the new AI research is great to give you new ideas. We also have a Get Inspired tab where you simply can check the results on Amazon and on Amazon Merch and everything. Then very important, when you think you found a niche, then always trademark check first. It's so frustrating, and I speak from experience, when you think a niche is great and then you realize at some point, oh no, it's trademarked. So always, when you think a niche is good, first check trademarks. Then we also have a tab in Flying Research, the real-time research, where you can load live results from Amazon. There you can, with the statistics tab, compare easily how the bestseller ranges are, then also have a look in the database, how they are ranked and how many reviews and everything. And at the last point, then we also check the keyword search volume. Is there interest? Because this gives you a very, very good and fast indicator if there is a general, if people want it, especially when keywords are around like niche shirt, for example. And this is usually how we verify it. So first research, then checking trademarks, then verifying what is there with the real-time research, and then checking trends and search volume and everything.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a good process. And I think what you were trying to say is that there is different ways to find these ideas for niches. You could do the bestseller tab, sort by newest. You could do AI research, which I personally am a big fan of. You can do the Get Inspired, where I think you even have a tab that just shows you random Amazon merch shirts, regardless of whether they've sold or not, which I think is really cool, because most people only look at shirts that have sold, but you might find a niche idea with shirts that haven't sold, which doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have potential. It might just be some new t-shirts that have been added to the niche recently. So yeah, it's finding a niche idea with different features. You don't have to do just one specific one. Then checking for trademarks. I know what you mean. Sometimes you forget and you check at the very end, and then you're like, oh God, I've wasted all this time. So do that first, and then check the search volume and analyze the niche further.
If anyone researches ball sports in the USA, please always check your trademark, because I think it happened 2 or 3 times for me that in the next moment I realized, oh, okay, this is trademarked, and this is always very frustrating. And for the process of the research, of course, every user has to find something that also keeps them motivated. So you can be a fast researcher where you just check like 3 or 4 topics, and you make very basic research. And if this is the way for you and you have success with it, you can do it. I also know users who sit down on a Saturday morning and then they research till Saturday afternoon. If this is your way, then you can also do it that way. It's not that you have to do it like that and then it is correct. There are many ways. The goal must be that the end result is that you sell them.
I agree. That I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's I think some people are looking for sort of the golden method or the best way to find niches, which I don't think exists. Everyone has different preferences. Some people hate research, some people love it, so they're going to all use different tools. At the end of the day, the main thing is get from A to B, right? From no niche to finding a niche idea. And you have to try out different methods and see what works best for you and what you enjoy most as well. At the same time, to switch to a different topic, what are some of the best online communities that you've found for print on demand? But besides mine, obviously mine's the best.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought about it a little bit. And to be honest, I'm not saying that because I'm now here in your podcast. Really think that your Discord channel is probably the one that gives me at the moment most value.
Really?
It's really like that, and I also can explain why. Because in the beginning of Print on Demand, I think like 3 years ago, there was just Facebook. You know, Print on Demand was when there was something with community activities. It was always a Facebook, and yeah, I'm from Germany, so of course you always go to German groups in the beginning, and yeah, then at some point you also see US groups, and 21, 22 also Discord groups came up, and what I realized after some time is on Facebook groups you get a lot of general talk, you know, general questions, beginner questions, etc. You also have this on Discord servers, but you have a lot better communication. You know, you can write about results, you can write about information you got and everything on Discord. It's like a talk, you know, on Discord. And on Facebook, it's really just a post and then a few commentaries, and then it's gone forever. And the problem on Discord is that you have a lot of POD servers, but there is not really any conversation. You know, the server is up, then the first 100, 200 people join, then there is activity for a few weeks, and then at some point it's more or less that, you know, then every week comes like a question or two or three. And this is different on your server, I have to say. Also with the daily sales tab and everything, and with the general tab, you really see a conversation going on, no matter if it's Amazon Merch, no matter if it's Etsy. And this is something I really quite like. Usually I can just scroll through my servers and see, okay, this is written and this comment. But in your server, I just have a few tabs because it's so much. I can't read everything.
Yeah, that's true. I sometimes get distracted by the server as well because there's very interesting conversations going on about different topics, and I'm surprised that there's so much activity going on. There was definitely phases where people were not really chatting much, and it was like a few messages a day. But I think since the daily sales tab, since I've added that, which was a suggestion from a user, that's really sparked a lot of conversation because you'll see some bigger sellers posting their numbers, and then newcomers will ask questions. How do you do this? And it's actually made it very interesting. What I've found particularly fascinating recently is that we've got two very big sellers on Amazon Merch posting their numbers, and they have completely different strategies, which is super nice to know. One guy, just to briefly summarize it, one guy goes into very, very broad competitive niches, and he runs a lot of ads and tests different designs with his ads. And he's sharing his exact strategy in the server, by the way, if you want to read it up. And the other person, Merch Professor, which some people might know from Instagram, he does the opposite. He goes into like lots and lots of random niches and broad niches to scalable designs, I think. And both of them are getting massive numbers. So it's good to know that, again, it's not one perfect method that works for everyone. Different approaches can work across the board. But interesting to know that you like my community the most. So I didn't expect that.
You have to send me the link afterwards for the strategy with the ads. I have to have a look, to be honest. And yeah, I agree totally with you with the daily sales tab, because this is, I think, something where everyone can relate to and everyone can talk about. No matter if you have 10 or 100 sales per day, this is something where you simply can communicate. Because Print on Demand is like, it's not like a investing thing where everybody can talk about a stock, for example. It's in the end player versus player, and nobody who sells good in a niche will give out this niche, and nobody who has a very successful advertising strategy usually gives out the advertising strategy. And this is, I think, where many groups and also Facebook groups are doomed in the end, because nobody wants to share the information and give other advantages.
That's true. That's always an issue with print on demand. People don't want to share their niches, and I get why. But yeah, I was actually apprehensive at first. I didn't really want to add a daily sales tab because I'm always I'm a little bit against it in the sense that new people that are not getting sales or getting very little sales, they will look at someone with like 100 sales a day and be demotivated. Some people will be like that, not everyone. Other people will be motivated from it. Um, and I always say comparison is the thief of joy. If you compare your own numbers to someone who started like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, you are going to lose a bit of the fun if you don't see much progress with your own sales. But no, it's actually been a very positive impact overall, I think, and it sparked a lot of conversation, which is good in the end. And you don't have to share your numbers if you don't want to. It's just open for anyone to do or to take a look at. How do you keep growing your Amazon merch sales personally? Because you've been sharing your numbers on your YouTube channel, and they have been going up quite a lot since the last year, haven't they?
Yeah, to be honest, as I mentioned before, it really started off 2021 when we got advertising for our Amazon account. And to be honest, it's very, very simple. First, fill your slots when we have now 50,000 design slots available. And it's always fears me out when I see someone who writes he's like in tier 20,000 and he has just 5,000 slots filled, because I always think this is so much potential. So fill your slots. Then, of course, also try new niches, because every seller you have from a new niche that you didn't have the year before is something that will add up to your numbers. Then, of course, also scale the niches that are already working. You can also just scale the design that is already working. Maybe you can take this design if it's a relative generic one and also try other niches or try other quotes with AI. No problem anymore. And yeah, fill the niches you are already successful in. And of course, make your ads better. So very, general strategy is simply set up an auto campaign bid relatively low, and when you realize, okay, I'm selling here, then you can optimize. Then you make maybe the bid a little bit higher. You make a manual campaign with specific keywords and everything. And I think these are at least for Merch by Amazon, the golden rules how you can grow. I also tried at some point to rework the listing, because when I look at listings from 2020 or 2021, they're really horrible. But I think that's just the little extra. I think really filling your slots, trying new niches, scale, and making ads better are the way to go to grow.
Really, you've gone back in time and updated the listing data of old designs that are selling, or that seems scary to me because you can get a rejection for a design.
To be honest, I always think a little bit different, because I always read that you get rejections and everything. But when you fear so much that you get a rejection for it, maybe it shouldn't be up in the first place anymore, So I also always translate into all marketplaces, because I always have the feeling, hey, I'm not guilty here with my design. I'm not guilty with my listing. I'm trying just the best. And this is why I have no fear to publish it on all marketplaces. Of course, when you try a new niche, please upload just one design with one listing. Try if it goes through. And if yes, then you can upload the other ones. Don't get 100 rejections at a time. I tried once also to rework old listings, but it is really painful. Like you said, you have a lot to check and a lot to improve. And it's just a little extra if you have the time. I think when you focus on ads the same time, it probably has 5 or 6 times more the value than reworking old listings.
Yeah, I think with me, it's also the worry about the changing rules, because Amazon changes their content policy. Like back in the day, using GIF in the title, all that was fine, or adult humor or swear words, that sort of stuff was all fine. So if you then change a really old listing, might some of those words trigger rejection now? Then you have to change it all around. So yeah, I typically stay away from that. But it's an interesting strategy if you're sure that you're safe, that the listing is fine. Improving it with time might be worth it. But let's talk a little bit more about your Amazon ads strategy there. So, do you, for example, use lottery campaigns? Do you regularly go in and optimize things? What is sort of your workflow with that?
Yeah, we talked before about the recency bias. This is something I tried to change a little bit for this year because I also saw last year that I often fall into the recency bias where I really checked daily, and when one day was not good, then I directly changed the ads and everything. And after a week or month, I thought, okay, no, you should not have done that. I usually try to advertise everything I upload in lottery campaigns at least. When I try new niches, I make auto campaigns where I test with a little bit of a higher cost per click price, but not too high. I think to try new niches, but not with the most effort, is not such a bad thing, because when something starts working and you didn't put really the effort in, there is definitely potential. Then a perfectly worked out niche where you make maybe, don't know, 5 sales a year or something like that. So lottery campaigns for, in general, all designs. The new niches, I try with just an auto campaign, and when I see something is running and I make sales here, then I also start with manual campaigns. Keyword tab again, keywords with the most search volume, and then I put it in a campaign. And I also don't have fear after all this time when a keyword where I think, okay, this keyword must sell, and it doesn't, I simply turn it off. And it's always a little bit how or what you want to achieve with this niche, with this advertising campaign. When you go into an event, you can spend like $10 per sale, and it could be good in the end when you sell organically also. And there are also low competition niches where you make maybe like 3 sales a year because there is simply no traffic. So yeah, but usually advertising everything, auto campaign, and when it starts to run, then also manual campaigns.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And you mentioned something important there, I think, for beginners, is if you check on a daily basis, that's not really a good strategy, I would say, especially because the data is delayed, isn't it, by a few days? So
yeah,
and I've made this mistake many times as well. I check yesterday's sales and I see, oh God, I've spent a lot of money, but I haven't made very many sales, which is often just due to the fact that the data is behind. So some of the sales might not have been counted yet. Have you had the same experience? Or
we are 2 weeks into May, and I still get sales for my April. So yeah, I definitely made also this experience, and because you said you had yesterday also a lot of ad spend and not many ad sales, exactly the same for me here. And I also know, okay, 3, 4, 5 sales will be delivered for sure. Many people think, especially when they can't advertise, I think they think that advertising can fix everything. When you can advertise, you make sales and your account grows and everything. But to be honest, advertising can also be the grave for you, because when you simply jump in, your listing is not optimized, your designs are maybe not the best ones in the niche, then you can spend really $100 for a sale, a shirt that makes you like $4. And this is what people, I think, often must realize, that advertising is like fuel you can add. And then it boosts your account. It can boost your account, but it also can catch fire. So be careful.
yeah, totally agree. Advertising is not the magic fix to get you sales. You have to check the boxes, right? The basics of good design, good niche, good listing. Otherwise, you're going to just burn through money most of the time. And yeah, it's an art in itself. It definitely takes some work and effort and learning, understanding it. It's you can kind of set and forget it with some of the auto campaigns, but if your designs are not amazing, then you might struggle that way as well. Something else I wanted to talk about is most people sell t-shirts on Amazon, right? Well, that's for most people the best seller. What are some other products that you sell quite a lot?
To be honest, I'm quite a classic seller, so I really also or always concentrated on clothing, t-shirts especially. But of course, hoodies is also something, especially when you are in fall or in winter, and also spring. You sell a lot of hoodies, And I tried now to concentrate also a little bit more on accessories. And I have to say that iPhone cases, not Samsung cases, really iPhone cases in the US are selling quite well. When you have a niche that people want, then you have to be careful with the ad spend, because really iPhone cases can trigger can trigger a lot of clicks. But when you have a good motive there, it really sells well. So yeah, phone cases for sure, and also tote bags. I have a few designs for tote bags that sell regularly. I mean, it's nothing, no bestseller that sells every day, but yeah, I think it's for sure a few $100, maybe $1,000 per year that I make from tote bags. So it's also quite a good accessory, I have to say.
Yeah, that's a good addition. And with the phone cases, it's been the same experience for me. It's mostly iPhone. You rarely sell Samsung cases. And
Have you ever sold a Samsung? And how is the ratio? Sell you like 100 iPhone cases and one Samsung? I think I never sold a Samsung case.
I can't remember if I have sold a Samsung, but yeah. What do you price them at, just out of interest? Because I've usually priced iPhone cases at $19.99, but I've been thinking, would people spend like the full price, the $30? I think is max, or $29 for it. You ever tested that?
I have 18.99 for my sellers, because I simply had it like that, and I'm okay with the revenue I get there, with the profit. So I let it at 18.99 also because it's good with the advertising. But I also have phone cases at 19.99 that also sell. Other niches, also some event niches. But to be honest, I never tested the difference. But yeah, both are selling 18.99, 19.99.
Okay,
This range.
you've never gone like really expensive, like $25 or $30. Not tested that.
No.
I've started to test that recently. Not had a sale yet, but I thought maybe people who've got an iPhone are willing to spend $30 on a custom case. I could imagine that.
If they like it, they will.
Yeah, you've got the right niche, I'm sure. For those people who can't get into Amazon merch, because there is a lot of them, which marketplaces would you recommend next, or next best?
The field has quite changed, to be honest, since we started. In the beginning, you really could start anywhere. You waited for your Merch by Amazon account, and it was Redbubble, it was especially TeePublic, Spreadshirt, and all the other sites. I think when you want to make now a decent amount of money, you have to be on Amazon Merch, or you have to have your own store on Shopify or Etsy. I think this is the way to go when you really want to make, I think 4 figures a month, something like that. Spreadshirt is okay. You can start there, but they also have the star class system. Redbubble, I would only use as a part. If you can upload automatically, you can do it, but I won't give too much on them. TeePublic is also okay when you are listed on the marketplace. And yeah, there are other sites like, I think, Society6 or Find Out America, where you can also make a few dollars, maybe also $100, $200 a month. And a site that nobody knows, especially just the ones that use Flying Upload, is Tostadora. It's a Spanish one, and to be honest, I can just say it's a great site to start. I think the ranking system is fair. You sell there organically, and it's also a great indicator when you sell there that these designs will also sell, for example, on Amazon Merch, especially because you also have the Spanish marketplace there. So I would recommend, if you don't get an Amazon account, try Tostadora. You can also try Find Out America and Society6 if it is less effort for you. And when you can't get Amazon, then start with your own store or Etsy. But I would say Etsy because it's a little bit simpler. Our own store really requires a lot of work, and not just that, you have to do advertising, and there you have to know what you do.
Totally agree. The big places you want to be in is definitely Etsy and Amazon if you're looking to make like $1,000+ a month. The other sites are good for practice, in my opinion, or getting started. And they might be good for people who don't need necessarily to make $1,000. If $100 extra per month would make a big difference to your life, yeah, go for it. Like Redbubble, TeePublic, Spreadshirt, that can still definitely be worth it in that case. Tossadora, I'm glad you mentioned that. I've made a video about it, and I really like that site as well, because I've found that you can sell both trends as well as evergreen designs very well, because there's lower competition on that marketplace, seemingly, for a lot of niches. And I know of someone who started on Tossadora, I think about half a year ago, 8 months ago, and they're making regular daily sales on there, which can't really say that for Redbubble, for example. That's very rare, I would say, at such a short time span. What do you think of Display?
Display is a good site. I make nearly daily sales there also, but I don't know if you can go into Display at the moment, because I think Flying has also a part that they at some point changed the regulations a little bit, that you have to apply for Display also. I don't know if they changed it back, or if you still have to do it.
You have to apply.
But yeah, I mean, but the same is for Spreadshirt, for example. When you are already on that site, you can make money there, and you should upload there, especially also because just to publish your designs there, for copycats. So copycats don't upload first on these sites. That's what I mean. But yeah, I mean, Display is good in general, but I think for new sellers, they don't really have a chance to go in, if I'm informed right.
Yeah, I think you have to have a pretty good application, because if you look at Display's homepage, they're selling very sort of artsy, detailed stuff, complex graphics. It's not the typical t-shirt design style that they're pushing. And they have a lot of brand partnerships, again, with high quality designs. So they're looking for really talented people, I would say. And I have heard it's hard to get accepted into it. But I don't think it's closed. You can definitely be accepted. But yeah, if you're very talented with art, with design, then definitely give it a try, because I do think there's quite a lot of potential there. And it doesn't feel as limited as some of the TeePublic, Redbubble feel. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time, Tom. That was a great conversation.
Thank you.
Lots of valuable insights. Thanks a lot for coming on. And if people either want to learn more from you or they have questions about Flying Research, Flying Upload, where can they reach you?
I think this video is published on YouTube, so the easiest way is to go into the search tab and simply search for Flying Upload. Then our channel comes up, and then you can see also there our Discord server. You can see our website, flyingresearch.net, and then simply join. And if you have any questions, we usually answer very, very fast. And yeah, then I just also want to say thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Great conversation, and always nice to talk to someone else about print on demand.
Yeah, perfect. I will leave all of the links in the description as well. And we'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.